Welcome back and thanks for staying with us here on Morning Live. Now, the multi-party load-shedding lawsuit against President Cyril Ramaphosa and state entities resumes in the North Gauteng High Court in Pretoria today. Now, the first day of the court hearings of the 19 parties lawsuit was held online on Monday. The parties want the court to force the state to stop load-shedding and to provide a consistent energy supply to the public. Meanwhile, political parties, trade unions and other stakeholders in January also condemned the National Electricity Regulator of South Africa, NERSA, for their approval of an 18.65% increase in electricity tariffs, which will be implemented from the 1st of April. Now, the NERSA decision, which is a matter of a separate court case, has also been legally challenged. But we're joined now by UDM leader, General Bantu Holomisa, just to talk to us and also give us an update on these matters. General Holomisa, thanks so much for your time. Welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning, Shakila, and good morning to our viewers.
So, General, just looking at what happened in court on Monday, now in the opening argument, Advocate Toby said that load shedding has created a national crisis and a humanitarian disaster. Let's just start there by contextualizing how bad the situation actually is.
The situation is bad, Sakina, because this load shedding affects areas like hospitals. It compromises the security because even the police stations, some of them do not have access to electricity. It is also bad in the sense that the education system is also affected because some of the students these days are studying online, whether they are at home or in school. So there's something which needs to be done urgently. That's why we sought a relief to say we understand that, yes, it's going to take a short, medium to long term, but we contextualize it by saying let us lift or at least relieve the hospitals and the police stations and so on. So the argument is around that, and I hope that the courts will look into this matter favorable. It is not accepted that while the doctors in hospitals are still busy doing operations to the patients, and then all of a sudden the machines go off. I mean, this is a catastrophe which needs to be addressed.
And many South Africans, I would imagine, would agree with you, given the debilitating effect of load shedding, General Holomisa. But then, just in trying to understand exactly what is being called for, you explain now some sectors that provide essential services, but then you also have, as part of the 19 entities that are with you on this particular effort, parties such as NUMSA, such as Haitu, and they say that this is also about defending human rights. And they further expand on that by saying that they demand an exemption to not only those public healthcare facilities, but also for small and medium enterprises, as well as telecommunications companies that provide services to the public. Now, the question then becomes, isn't this going to become a long list of exemptions, which then would make it difficult, because where do you stop? Because, Sakina can also come and say, I'm doing something very essential there in my little corner, and I also want to be exempt.
Well, it's worth listing those issues. We've listed them deliberately. We were sober when we were listing them, precisely because we wanted to paint a real picture. The onus now is on the state. They still have to unpack, maybe they will tell us in court, as to what was the aim of declaring a state of disaster. How are they going to spend the money, spend it on what? What exactly, why did they declare a state of disaster? So we will hear, I'm sure, from today onwards, from the state. But ESCOM on Monday was more or less feeling, was almost on our side. They agreed with us with our presentation and everything, except to say the difficulty they foresee is to zoom and only isolate this electricity to the hospitals. And they said it might affect the surroundings. They cannot switch it off. Then we were arguing to say, do you prefer that people must be killed? Because this load shedding is nothing else but a man-made load shedding. Look at these past 3 days. When we said we'll be in court on Monday, when EFF said they are going to do a shutdown, all of a sudden in 3 days we have electricity. Who exactly takes a decision to say there must be a load shedding? Because sometimes they say, come Sunday, we will be on stage, what? When you ask them, why are we not having lights? Oh, the coal is wet. No, the quality of the coal is not good. Oh, it's because of sabotage. Which is which? They must tell us the truth. These people are not transparent. I hope this court case will expose them as such.
General, what about NERSA's approval of that 18.65% tariff hike for Eskom for the 2022-2023 financial year and 12.74% for the following year, and saying that whilst this increase is less than what Eskom had, of course, initially asked for, which was a 32% hike, it will still be a devastating one on the populace of South Africa. What are your thoughts on that and NERSA's decision?
Well, we have also asked the court for a relief on that to say, stop this. You can't increase tariffs in the middle of load shedding. But what is coming out clear here is that we are being asked to service the debt of Eskom, a debt which was caused by the ruling party when they decided, when the government had doled billions of rands to Eskom to build Medupi and Kusile. But what we have seen is that ANC was positioning itself, or rather positioned itself, to get money, billions out of that transaction. There was not even a tender system. So Hitachi and ANC decided that this is the slush fund. You want to live better, we also want to live better. Let's go and take that money. Now, in order to service that debt, they are coming now to the people of South Africa. No, we have the right to say no.
And you know, General, this is obviously going to be a very interesting one, because that argument that you've just made, that we are being asked to service, you know, this debt, and not just service it, but service it twice, if you will, because one would feel that as someone who is already paying for these services, why do you have to pay again? Because it sort of feels that way. I don't know if that's your feeling and understanding about it as well, or whether you see it differently.
It is academically, but they are hiding the reason why they are increasing. NERSA is part of government. ESCOM is part of government. Government is the main shareholder at ESCOM. So these people mustn't play with words.
So the question is, if the money is not going to be recouped from you and I as consumers, where will the money come from?
The ANC must return back that money. Hitachi must also be asked to return back the money because they have not delivered. Those two plants which were built in order to increase generation, they are not operating to their full capacity. So ANC and Hitachi must be accountable. After all, look at this scandal. Hitachi and Chancellor House of ANC mess up in South Africa. Guess what? They have been penalized in USA. Why are we not getting a portion of that money, or we penalize them here?
Well,
this is interesting setup.
General Holomisa, we hope that we will get some answers to those questions watching this court case as it unfolds, but we have to leave it there for now. Thanks so much, UDM leader General Bantu Holomisa, updating us on the multi-party lawsuit that was launched against President Cyril Ramaphosa and state entities, and it resumes in court today. The parties want the court to force the state to stop load shedding and to also provide a consistent supply of electricity.